It's going up forever, Laura.
Yo, welcome back to the news desk at Bitcoin 2024 Day 2. Of course, Simply Bitcoin is back, and we are here to take over the news desk for the next 40 minutes or so. With me on the desk today is Adam O'Brien, founder of Bitcoin Well, and of course, my legendary co-host, Optimus Fields. Ladies and gentlemen, we're Simply Bitcoin. We'll be your guide through these tumultuous times, or as we like to call it, the separation of money and state. Simply Bitcoin is the most watched daily Bitcoin live show. We go live Monday through Friday, 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also want to give a very special thanks to Mike Germano, David Bailey, and the whole of the Bitcoin Magazine team for allowing these Simply Bitcoin takeovers of the news desk, baby. All right, you guys know the deal. We're about to 10x the energy, and I did mention that we'll be your guide through the separation of money and state, and this is a historical conference, and the reason for that is you have a potential president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, speaking tomorrow at 2 p.m. And today, of course, we have RFK Jr. So very, very exciting times. I know it's a little bit unpopular with a lot of Bitcoiners, this idea that Bitcoin is entering into the political sphere. But look, if we do want Bitcoin to become the world reserve currency, this was an inevitability. Wow, that's a hard word.
Wow, you had too much fun last night, Nico.
That was you, bro. That was you. What are you talking about?
I was a good boy.
But yeah, so essentially what I was saying is, look, it's not that Bitcoin needs politicians to win. Bitcoin's going to win regardless. It has the best incentives. It's that politicians now need Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoiners have become a very influential voting bloc. Speaking about breaking the Bitcoin echo chamber, we have the Daily Wire here. We have Michael Knows. We have mainstream influencers that didn't get famous because of Bitcoin that are here covering a Bitcoin event. And I think, I think it might be surprising to them that, first of all, that people know them, right?
Yes.
That this is an event to cover, right? And Bitcoin is slowly but surely creeping into the mainstream consciousness. And one of my favorite quotes, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know who this comes from, but fundamentally, politics is downstream from culture. So if we want to win this, we want to win the culture war. And it's not the culture war that you're thinking about. Opti?
Yeah, I mean, before we even came on live, guys, we were sitting here talking with Mike Germano, and he was acknowledging the Daily Wire was here, and he was like, man, they were so surprised at how many Bitcoiners knew who they were. And we're like, there's a huge overlap here, and it's very obvious to us Bitcoiners, but it's very amazing that people outside of our industry don't understand that this is not just a Bitcoin conference. This is a freedom conference. This is about people wanting personal sovereignty. This is about people actually wanting to effectuate change. We don't think there's a political solution. The Daily Wire, obviously, on the right, and they're realizing in real time that, oh my goodness, there is an untapped market for our content with Bitcoin.
There is a political solution, but it's not the political solution that people think. The political solution is, it's not how hard you vote, it's how you vote with your wallet, right?
Yep.
And the most important vote you can make, and I say this all the time, is taking your Bitcoin into self-custody. Like, that is the most powerful vote. I'm not saying normal voting is not important. It's definitely important, specifically in this election year, right? Ross Ulbricht's freedom is on the ballot. The right to take self-custody in the United States, the right to mine is on the ballot. So it's very important to vote traditionally, but also the most powerful vote you could make, especially if you don't live in the United States, you live in a totalitarian government. Vote with your wallet. Buy Bitcoin, earn Bitcoin, mine Bitcoin, and put that said Bitcoin into self-custody. Adam, you're from Canada, my friend.
Dude.
You don't have, you guys don't have the freedoms and the privileges that here in the States that we have. Not to mention the Canadian truckers protest. That was a big deal. So how are you seeing this? Because I feel like Alberta, the province that you're from, is really a couple years ahead on this front because this is a very freedom-minded province, to say the least.
Yeah, Alberta's like, they call it the Texas of Canada. And it's interesting because you actually don't understand that you need Bitcoin until you need Bitcoin.
Yeah.
In Canada especially, we need Bitcoin. We've had this totalitarian socialist government that is taking away, stripping the freedoms that we have, and the money is getting locked up. The money that the citizens of Canada think is safe in their banks is getting locked up as part of the trucker protest, as you mentioned, Nico, and so we need Bitcoin. I think Canada has the most per capita Bitcoiners than any other country in the world. It's been amazing building Bitcoin in Canada, but it's awesome to see this energy here, dude. It's amazing to see, like you said, the Daily Wire, the I mean, the Overton window is moving, is shattering, and it's super fun to see the energy around Bitcoin because, like you said, no one's here, or there's some trading talk here and there's some money talk here, but this is a freedom conference. This is about personal liberties that we as Bitcoiners share because we have sound money in self-custody.
Absolutely, and I don't think you can have freedom without Bitcoin. Like, if you're part of the freedom movement and you're not using Bitcoin as a tool, like, I don't want to call you a LARP. Perhaps LARP is.
But you're a
strong
LARP.
Opti will do it.
Opti said that wasn't me. But yes, you need Bitcoin. Specifically, one of the most empowering things you could do as an individual is take Bitcoin into self-custody. That protects you from government censorship and government debasement. And then the next step after that is, of course, running your own node and truly becoming this sovereign individual. There's absolutely no excuse to not do these days. You have the tools. Bitcoin open source development has come such a long way, and these wallets are incredibly easy to use. This wasn't the case, 5-8 years ago, right? So they've come a very, very long way. You have no excuse not to learn how to take self-custody of your life, take back your life, essentially.
Dude,
right?
100%.
Well, wait, Nico.
Yo.
You go. Yeah.
Okay, yo, Rockstar.
Wait. We got
Speaking of,
we got
Open
Rockstar.
source technology.
Speaking of
Maxi, bro.
the one and only Uncle Rockstar. Get over here.
Dude, wait.
Get over here.
You're gonna come on stage.
All right, yeah, you get here.
You're gonna come on stage and you're not gonna give me a hug.
Get in there,
Rockstar?
get
What
in
is
there.
this? What is this, bro? What is this? How you doing? Good to see you, dude.
Okay, here.
All right, sit right there in the middle. Sit right there.
Sit here,
in the
sit
middle.
here.
Sit right there in the middle.
Here.
Oh man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have Rockstar Dev, one of the most
Legendary.
legendary developers in Bitcoin. He's contributed so much, joining us on today. And little birdie told me you have
Something really, really cool.
Oh, why does everyone want, like, what are in your pockets, Rockstar? oh, that bag? Yeah, no. So, what's in my pocket is Ross, free Ross, right?
Free Ross, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Yo.
And what does this do?
So
What is this?
It's a Bolt card that allows people to, like, you don't want to have Bitcoin wallet on your phone. You can pay.
Yo!
Wait,
Yeah.
Can you zoom in on this?
Look at
Can
the
we zoom
eyes.
in on this card here.
Ladies and gentlemen, for
we
anyone
go.
who's watching this, for anyone who's watching on the stream, Ross's eyes are lighting up.
Laser eyes for
eyes,
Ross.
laser
And,
eyes.
Amazing.
If I
And there we go. We got Donald
I
Trump.
get
Hey,
In the
Ross.
mugshot. In the mugshot.
Ross,
Wow,
yes.
and the flag connects. That's amazing.
There we
Amazing,
go.
amazing.
Wow.
Opti, air horns, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Simply
Wait,
Bitcoin
wait.
takeover. of
Rockstar, are
the
these
Bitcoin-
live? Can people buy these?
So people can buy these $10 at the merch store, like the best item if you ask me. And then if you find Rockstar and let me initialize them for you, you can use them to pay here at the conference.
Let's
because
go.
BTC Pay server and Strike are processing payment. Kudos to Jack, Dylan, Pavlinix, Webworthy, Michael, like everyone that made that happen. So yeah, like it's
Dude.
a Bitcoin conference. People need to be able to pay in Bitcoin.
Absolutely,
fun.
absolutely.
Mugshot,
And these
Yeah.
two figures, I just wanna pull them up again. These two figures, right? We have Donald Trump, of course. He announced at the Libertarian Conference that if he is to get elected, the first thing he's going to do is free Ross, right? So it's
Free
extremely
Ross.
symbolic, extremely cool. You guys want to know why we're gonna win? It's because we got people like Rockstar in our team, baby.
All of us. It's a team effort.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
Well, yeah. So look, I just got to mention this. This is
Here.
this is a very
You also get Rockstar.
Oh, there we go.
wow.
Look at
There
this.
you
Look
go.
at these three OG. Look at this. This is incredible. Incredibly freedom-minded people I'm holding in my hands. So look, ladies and gentlemen, this is an incredibly important election. I say there's three people specifically that we got to free, right? One of them being Julian Assange. That happened.
Yeah.
One of them being Edward Snowden, who was a speaker of the conference, a speaker at the conference, I might add. And the last is Ross.
Free
We've
Ross.
already freed one, right? And we're in the process, if Donald Trump gets elected, of freeing another. And of course, the final boss is we got to free Edward Snowden, which I think as our movement continues to grow in influence and popularity, and continues to seep into mainstream consciousness,
Yeah.
I think it's inevitable that Edward Snowden is going to be allowed back to the United States. Anyways, Rockstar, this has been an incredible conference. I feel like this is Bitcoin 2021. I feel Bitcoin 2021 energy. For anyone who wasn't at that conference, that was a conference that Nayib Bukele made the announcement that El Salvador was going to make Bitcoin legal tender. That was when Michael Saylor said he was going to do the Bitcoin strategy. It wasn't proven at the time. That's when Jack Mallers gave this heartfelt speech about influencing Nayib Bukele and rolling that out in El Salvador. It was an incredible conference. I feel the energy in this conference, right? Is it because Donald Trump is here? Is it because of the energy? What's your take on this?
I think it's because they're the ones now feeling the energy and doing the work for us.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Because when you see, like, we have put in the proof of work, we continue putting in work. But now that you have politicians, shilling Bitcoin, doing the work for us. You have Larry Fink. Thank you, man. So,
Up our bags, Larry.
Listen, I'm telling you, like, for me, it's that they feel it, and we just see all of that, and we should just, like, sit back and relax. Because for me, 2021 also was very special, because I'm the one coding the back end of Strike, making that happen. But now it's, like, even better. Like, hey, let them do the work. We sit back. We help a little bit. Free Ross, remind them of their promises. And let's
Absolutely.
go.
And what I gotta say also is, and you kind of buried the lead there, and I don't want to focus on that, right? And this is actually Kaiser that said this. Larry Fink, if you hold Bitcoin in self-custody, now works for you. Michael Saylor works for you. Donald Trump potentially might be working for you, right? And this is the beauty of an aligned incentive structure system, unlike the fiat system, which is completely different. Opti.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. It's becoming very obvious that as a Bitcoiner, as a movement, we are a force to be reckoned with. And now we are, I know we say it all the time, breaking the echo chamber. We are getting into the mainstream consciousness, and people are realizing the power of Bitcoin. Yes, we're still early to this, but the fact that we're having, RFK Jr. on the stage today, we're going to have Trump on tomorrow, Snowden's on in 3 hours, it's becoming a very real thing to everyone in Bitcoin, especially if you've been around for a long time. Me and Nico have been talking about it for a while. We didn't think it was going to happen this fast. It seems like it's accelerating. It seems like the timelines are getting pushed up, and it's going to be a very, very interesting few years moving forward. It seems like we're Bitcoiners. We have the best money, and now they want our money, and they actually have to, what a novel idea, work for us. Everyone that is a Bitcoiner works for Bitcoin. And now we have the biggest bags in the world working for Bitcoin. How are you not bullish on this?
Absolutely. And I got to say, about yesterday there was the Karate Combat contest. Nick Carter won. But the big news out of that event was RFK. RFK literally said, and I quote, "I put most of my wealth into Bitcoin. I'm fully committed," right? So now you have a non-zero chance that a president that could potentially get into the White House. I know RFK is polling pretty low right now, but there's a non-zero chance that not only do we have a pro-Bitcoin president in the White House, we actually have someone who's holding the majority of their wealth in Bitcoin in the White House. And I mean, what is that not going to do but push hyper-Bitcoinization? Adam.
Bro, I mean, you cannot stop the free market train. Bitcoin is free market money. It is protocol and not rulers. It is just the absolute way to have people store their time into a better way to store their time. You cannot use a fiat system to help people get off and into the sunset. They cannot help their generations to come if they're not holding their money in Bitcoin. We have, like you said, presidential candidates that understand this. This is absolutely the start of the next wave of Bitcoiners being born and adopted. And I'm here for it, man. I cannot wait for the freedom money to be here.
And from my side also, I have to add, it's crazy. It's crazy situation. And I'm hearing all kinds of things from these politicians, but until all of them are as committed as RFK,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah, 100%.
But I think they're getting it. We got to separate state and money. We're at that point of fiat clown world where even those within the system, especially them, they see how much it's not working, and that something that's more robust and scalable must happen. So the same way we separated church and state, we got to separate state and money. And we're getting allies not at like local level only, to see at federal level.
World leader level.
Where Rockstar, where do you think Trump keeps his hardware wallet?
Yeah, I will tell you after.
On the boat card. On the
Yeah,
boat card.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
there we go.
It's all here. Anyways, Michael Saylor also recently said, and again, this is all happening in a matter of a couple days. He said the U.S. government should own the majority of Bitcoin. He also said BTC is the Manhattan in cyberspace. And one of the things that I was thinking about when the German government recently sold basically all of their stack, terrible, that like 20% wrecked at this point.
Yeah.
Weeks later. It hasn't even been weeks, bro.
They literally sold their Bitcoin for something that they can create out of thin air, right? That is like, and they can't do that with Bitcoin. Like, talk about separating money from state. They are literally doing it literally themselves.
Yeah, they're helping us.
Right.
They helped us.
They're helping
yeah,
us, right?
Like it's,
So,
you saw my tweet on that?
no, what was it?
It was like the selling of Bitcoin will be one of the most retarded things German government ever did. And I tweeted it out. It was the bottom, like literally. So it only went up. But what you're saying, I heard Trump quoted that it's him said that Bitcoin is the new oil.
Yes.
If he understands it like that, we're in a good position.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. Like, that's what it is. It's the digital commodity, like the only one. Because
Go ahead.
because this whole like crypto shitcoin nonsense, like give me a break. I won't go there.
So what's your guys' take? I'm just curious, right? And again, the reason I'm asking you guys this question is because perhaps some members of the Bitcoin community don't like this take, right? Which is the idea of Michael Saylor saying U.S. government should own the majority of Bitcoin. Shouldn't it be the individuals? Isn't that the power of Bitcoin, right? It's a grassroots movement. Do we really want a government owning the majority of Bitcoin?
I disagree. Yeah, with government should own majority of Bitcoin, but it's a free market, so I would dislike it. But
Yeah, I mean, frankly, all that would do is just increase the purchasing power of the individuals that do own Bitcoin. When the government owns Bitcoin, they are going to have to do one of two things. They're going to try to, gold back the Bitcoin, which is going to be just another issuance of fiat, or they're going to do, hopefully, something strategic with it. Hopefully, not fund wars. I think that we cannot, at this point, trust the government to do strategic and good things. And so I would tend to agree with Rockstar. You want Bitcoin in the hands of individuals. But if the U.S. government does try to go and buy the majority of the Bitcoin, that's a lot of demand with, we know, a finite supply. That's going to be really good for our Bitcoin bags, so to speak.
Absolutely. Speaking of the government buying Bitcoin, of course, they didn't buy real Bitcoin. When I say real Bitcoin, I mean spot Bitcoin in self-custody. But breaking news, the state of Michigan pension reported owning $6.6 million of the Bitcoin ETF. And, of course, there was also breaking news the other day of the Wisconsin Pension Fund as well. So all of a sudden, the game theory starts to come into play. All the government employees in Wisconsin and Michigan, if you have hostile anti-Bitcoin regulation, you say, hey, wait a second, you're attacking my bags. What are you doing here? What's going on? Opti, what's your take?
100%. I mean, look, like Adam and Rockstar were saying, as much as we might get a weird feeling about governments buying Bitcoin, state organizations buying Bitcoin, we knew this game theory was going to play out eventually. Yeah. Bitcoin is for anyone. And again, everyone has the same problem. There's nothing to save in. And if you've understood the basics about Bitcoin, you realize that this was going to be the inevitable end. Everyone will want some Bitcoin, whether it's organizations, institutions, nation states, individuals. Everyone needs some Bitcoin, and we're going to see this play out in real time. There's also the announcement yesterday of Michael Saylor and Bitcoin Mag partnering for the corporations, Bitcoin for corporations, and Saylor even said, every business needs a Bitcoin strategic reserve. So we're seeing this play out. This is the very beginning of the institution adoption. I know we've been saying for a long time as Bitcoiners, the institutions are coming, the institutions are coming. But now we have it, and it's hilarious that we're seeing Bitcoiners be like, I don't know about this.
But it's what you said. People and businesses and governments don't have a reasonable asset to save their excess in. And I love the way, I was listening to Jack Mallers the other day, he said that profit is just an indication that you produce more than you consume, which is what we're called to do as human beings. Give the world more value than you take from it. And when you don't have a reasonable asset to store that excess value in, you look for a better one. Bitcoin is the obvious one. And finally, we've got governments, businesses, small businesses, corporations, individuals, like everyone on planet Earth is waking up to that fact. And I'm bullish on the future, man.
Absolutely. And I would say we're still early. Like, people are
Dude.
still, like, the vast majority of people, we're starting to break into the mainstream consciousness, but the vast majority of people still don't understand that there's a better money that they can use that will literally fundamentally change their lives. Like, people are still asleep to that fact. They're trying to seek a political solution where the solution is just to opt out entirely. And it's funny because that fixes the political issue in the first place, right? But anyways, guys, you are listening to the Simply Bitcoin takeover at Bitcoin 2024 Day 2. And I kind of want to pivot the conversation because we have some epic speeches and keynotes today.
Yeah.
We have Michael Saylor at 2 p.m. We have Lummis and Gabbard, which is interesting because that's bipartisan. We have a senator from the Republican side and we have a senator from the Democratic side. I can't emphasize this enough. Bitcoin is a bipartisan issue. The current administration, they made it partisan when they attacked Bitcoin with the proposed 30% income tax, the attack on self-custody, and of course the anti-Bitcoin legislation, Operation Choke Point 2.0, the denial of Caitlin Long's Custodia banking charter. They created a situation where they gave the opposing parties, Independent, RFK Jr., and the Republican Party, Donald Trump, they literally just handed them a gift and say, look, you guys could just take the Bitcoin voting demographic because you guys are going to see that as an opportunity, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm really excited about this because that's what people have to understand. Bitcoin is inherently apolitical. It doesn't lean left. It doesn't lean right. It's for everybody. It's just the current administration that dropped the ball, but let's see what happens in November. So excited for that. Of course, at 3:30, speaking of one of the three individuals we got to free, we have Edward Snowden. Super excited for that. And of course, 4 p.m., we have RFK Jr., which just said that he has the majority of his wealth in Bitcoin. What an incredible lineup. Rockstar, who are you most excited for?
I mean, I'm at 4 p.m. as well, so sorry, RFK. Yeah, sorry, man. Everyone will be at the open source stage because getting in there today,
It's
insane.
crazy.
Yeah, so I'm glad I'm on open source stage. I won't need to do the whole taking off, like KYC check. But I get Secret Service guys, they love me. They absolutely love me. Like, look, so yeah, but I love actually the whole program, honestly. And me personally, I'm mostly looking forward to Snowden, but Saylor is always great.
Why are you most looking forward to Snowden? What is it about Edward
Because,
Snowden and what he did that inspires you?
Well, with Edward Snowden, I also helped organize a Noster World Unconference, and Edward Snowden is one of our speakers at Nostrasia in Tokyo. Him and Jack Dorsey had this fireside that's on YouTube. You can look it up. And they had this amazing conversation about all the topics. And I was so blessed to be Noster conferences are less than 1,000 people. So I was able to walk up to the first row and sit and have Jack Dorsey and Snowden converse on Bitcoin, on Noster, on freedom. And then you, as someone that's sitting there consuming that, you're enlightened. So to me, that's Snowden has a special way of talking about topics and telling the truth. He's so good at it that it got him in this much trouble. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that speech because of that.
Absolutely. What about you, Opti? Who are you most
mean-
excited for? Saylor, Lummis and Gabbard, Snowden, or RFK Jr.?
Well, to Rockstar's point, I think Snowden's probably going to be one of the best speakers that we see today because, again, we've been talking about it today. This is a freedom movement, and he was on the front lines, and he, put it all on the line for freedom, for truth. And I think that's what all of us Bitcoiners try to do in our own way. Obviously, we're not at that level. We're not, ostracized from the U.S., but I am really excited to see RFK. Considering the clips that we've heard come out the last couple of days, you know, he's like, I'm a huge supporter of Bitcoin. It's like Rockstar say, until everyone comes out as a politician and is like RFK Jr., we still have a lot of work to do. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he says on stage.
Dude, and what do you think RFK is, like the polling numbers, I wonder if he's just testing to see how his polls continue to grow from this. Like, there's a world where we see RFK and Trump debating on who is the biggest Bitcoiner, which is like crazy to me, considering 2 years ago, or is it 3 years ago, Trump was like, yeah, Bitcoin's for criminals, it's no bueno. And now we've got him saying, I'm a Bitcoiner, RFK, I'm a Bitcoiner. They're going to be competing to see who's the biggest and the best Bitcoiner.
Who's the most maxi?
Dude, who's the biggest maxi? Like,
you
crazy.
bring up a great point, because you do remember with RFK doing the whole Ethereum thing?
That's right.
And they're like, go back. Because I've been hearing from other people that are more into this that Bitcoiners is a group, and then they lump us up with crypto people. We're like, no, but we're like, crypto, that whole segment is getting to be as powerful as evangelical Christians.
Yes.
Like, imagine that in such a short period of time.
15 years,
so
man.
what you're saying, like, if we get politicians to do that, like, I have this.
No, I
this,
have
and-
more Bitcoin. No, I
Yeah,
have more of my wealth in Bitcoin.
Man,
No, mine's in cold storage.
hilarious.
Like,
Hilarious.
amazing.
Yeah, and this is like the beauty. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. I feel like I'm repeating myself.
You're
but
a broken record.
I'm going to, so it gets into people's minds. The beauty of Bitcoin is that it's an aligned incentive structure model. What does that mean? Do you think miners are mining Bitcoin out of the goodness of their heart? No, they want profit. Do you think node runners are running nodes out of the goodness of their heart? No, they just don't trust other people's nodes, right? Do you think Bitcoin evangelists are just evangelizing Bitcoin out of the goodness of their heart? They might like talking about Bitcoin.
Come on.
Come on.
There
You're
are,
making it sound
there
like
are
that.
some altruistic idiots. Like, look, let's go. So, node runners, I know. There are a lot of altruistic idiot node runners. So, but I get it.
It's
And
incentives.
It is incentives. It's that. And sure, like I say, hey, we have work to do. But politicians, you're the ones having work to do. We did our proof of work.
Yeah.
Catch up. And, you don't want to catch up? Like, fine. like,
Have
have-
fun staying
HFSP,
poor.
baby,
I mean,
HFSP.
Look. In regards to politicians, because I know it's very unpopular with the Bitcoin community, right? RFK, he just announced that he's holding the majority of his wealth in Bitcoin.
Crazy.
You might not necessarily, trust what he's saying, but I could trust his incentives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know for a fact, he's not going to want to hurt his bags, right? And, I don't know if Donald Trump has Bitcoin. I'm assuming, he must have some type of exposure to it. He's already accepted donations from the Bitcoin community. I've heard he's raised $4 million so
Yep,
far
yep.
in
That just
Bitcoin
came out this
donations,
morning.
right?
And
So-
still doing those terrible NFTs. Like, come on, Donald. Come on, man. Stop with that. But no, it is what you say. It's a better system. And we should migrate towards better system. And that's all there is. As you say, altruistic idiots, there will always be some. But it will be less dependent on that, because incentive structure is so much better compared to the current system where we have this unlimited money printing. They give money between special interests and themselves, like politicians, and by the time it gets to the average person, what is left?
Yeah.
Peanuts, man.
Exactly.
Peanuts.
Crumbs.
Exactly.
Yeah, you should follow Nancy Pelosi's stock tips.
Best
So, yeah.
trader of our generation.
I wonder why. Okay, so speaking of very influential people, we've been talking about people that are supportive of Bitcoin. Of course, we got Michael Knowles here from the Daily Wire. We have Russell Brand. We have RFK Jr. We have Donald Trump. But ladies and gentlemen, I do not think that this is a coincidence. On X, formerly known as Twitter, it seems like Elon took away the Bitcoin hashtag
Yeah.
logo.
Dang.
And I do not think it's a coincidence that was taken away during the largest Bitcoin conference on planet
Wow.
Earth. Opti, what's your take?
Tinfoil hat.
How is that?
conspiracy theories
No.
coming
No,
soon.
no,
Come
no,
on.
he's right.
I know,
on. Come on
100%,
now.
100%.
Come on now.
I mean, it's very interesting, especially the big elephant in the room that Elon Musk is a huge Doge advocate as well. I mean, it's like, oh man, as much as I really love Elon as an entrepreneur, all his Bitcoin takes in my opinion, have just been a bunch of bad takes, a bad response to a lot of things. But you're right. It is no coincidence it's happening as we're having the biggest Bitcoin conference in the world. I mean, it is just a hashtag. It's just an emoji. But hey,
No, it's a symbol,
Yeah.
man. It's a symbol.
it's
I
a
think
symbol.
It's what Nico's talking about. The incentives are not there. Elon is incentivized with government subsidy and government money and government printing. He knows. He's a smart guy. He understands what Bitcoin is, but he's afraid and he's frustrated that he's not at these big events. He likes to be the man in charge, and frankly, Bitcoin doesn't need Elon. And I think that
Yeah.
that kind of hurts his ego a little bit.
100%.
And he's moving away from pandering maybe or enabling the Bitcoin crowd on his platform.
100%. And I want to. That's a really good point that you made, right? Because
Very
fundamentally,
good
That's
point.
two today.
Very
Good
good
for him.
Bitcoin, it's a terrible point. Bitcoin fundamentally is a humility test,
Boom.
Yeah.
right?
Stay humble, stack
it's-
sats, baby.
In the fiat system, you can get special privileges, right? Which is why the proof of stake altcoins are interesting, because you get special privileges the more of that altcoin or that more of that currency that you hold. With Bitcoin, that's not the case. Everyone's equal. It doesn't matter whether you're Michael Saylor or a pleb that has 0.01 Bitcoin. You do not have more influence over the Bitcoin network, right? And for someone like Elon, right, that is used to having the power of that proof of stake, it seems like he can't get over that humility test, man.
I mean,
Rockstar.
yeah, for me, Elon's superpower is riding the hate. Like, he's so
Yeah.
great at first generating hate and then surfing on top of that hate towards his own profits. So from conversations I have heard, it had to do with what you're saying. It's like, hey, let's redirect this Bitcoin people towards something else, and let's show them who is the boss.
The X Payments app coming soon.
Yeah, but
There you
this
go.
highlights the problems with
Yeah.
centralization. I mean, and our money is so centralized, but also, lots of our media is so. That's why
Yes.
the decentralized media, the Simply Bitcoin ethos, this is why it's so important, because when you have one group of individuals in charge of these massive platforms, they can make these little tiny decisions that, on the surface, don't look like a big deal,
Yeah.
but over time they compound, and all of a sudden, the Bitcoin logo isn't as recognizable because it's not, one of the #1 most used hashtags on the #1 media platform on earth.
Yes.
And these little tiny compounding effects are what help reduce the Overton window. If we as Bitcoiners want to expand the Overton window, the fiat maxis want to reduce the Overton window and get us back into our bubble, and this is just one step towards that. Thanks again to centralization.
Absolutely. Another good point.
No,
Wow,
no,
three
you're
today,
free.
man. Where's
Yeah,
where's my
you're-
contract, bro?
Let's
Where's
Yeah,
my
okay,
contract?
Adam,
wait.
air horn.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, guys, you're listening to the Simply Bitcoin News Desk takeover at Bitcoin 2024. If you guys are enjoying the live stream, make sure to smash that like button. Of course, consider subscribing to the Bitcoin Magazine channel. I do want to talk about Elon Musk for a second. Personally, I'm a huge fan of him as an entrepreneur. I use his products. Tesla's amazing. What he's doing with SpaceX is absolutely incredible. And there's been very, very popular figures like Donald Trump, even like Michael Saylor, Larry Fink is another good example, that weren't exactly fans of Bitcoin a couple years ago, and then they eventually saw it's inevitable. They saw the incentives. So I'm not writing Elon Musk off at forever, but that's where we stand today. And he's such an influential figure. He owns the largest media platform in the world.
And space platform, and electric car platform,
And
head chip platform. Like, this man is the juggernaut of owning
they use
centralization.
BTC Pay server to accept Tesla payments.
Yeah.
Wow.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Back in the day, yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
but I'm telling you, he is just in negotiation phase.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's the whole deal of what you're saying, expanding, contracting,
Yeah.
and you can see the impact that X has. That Elon bought the platform, and suddenly whole political discourse
Totally.
and wider changed.
Again,
It's
back to
crazy.
centralization.
Yeah,
so this
absolutely.
is why,
Crazy, man.
we just happen to have someone in charge who is, on this side of the pendulum.
Better.
But
no,
it's-
he's better.
he's
Like those,
much better, of
Those
course.
people at Twitter, they're like terrible, like business people, like
But,
terrible.
but it highlights, though, that it's the man in charge that sets the pace. And this is why you, watching at home, you need to understand that you have to get off of the centralized platforms, move into more of a community, a decentralized
Of course, and this
Let's
is
go.
why Nostr
Nostr.
is so
Absolutely.
incredibly important. And Rockstar, you're a huge fan of Nostr.
I
You've
mean-
supported the platform, or
Yes.
the protocol,
I mean,
better said.
I was dragged in by Ben Ark into a Telegram channel where there was like 30 of us, and it was Ben Ark supporting Fiat Jeff, And they dragged me in and was like, what are you doing, guys? Well, we hate that on Twitter it's so easy to ban people. We're building alternative. I'm like, good luck. They think, how will this work out? But anyways, Blue Sky was happening, and I read their report, and I was like, well, this will not work. It will be another Silicon Valley people come together and they want to fix the world type of disaster. So I DM'd Jack Dorsey and said, hey, man, you should look into Nostr. If you're interested in funding, look into Nostr. And then, this is a hilarious story. I didn't expect you're going to send it anyone. They have sent, and then Fiat Jeff went to their meeting, came back, and you know what he said? It's a bunch of communists. Like, but anyways, we made it work.
Okay.
We made it work. Check
Anyways,
out Nostr.
check out Nostr. I am bearish on centralized platforms. I'm extremely bullish on decentralized protocols. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the Simply Bitcoin News Desk takeover of day 2. We have so many incredible speakers still left to do their keynotes. And right now we have a very special announcement from the team over at Ledger. Nico,